and welcome to the Cloud Chalet. Over the course of this winter series, we're going to be covering topics such as end-user computing, private cloud, and databases. I'm joined today by our experts, Grant and Tom.
Hello.
Hello, fellas. If you watch 3 of our videos, we will give you a pair of these lovely gloves, modelled by Grant over here. And if you watch all 6 of our videos, you'll go into a prize draw to win a €400 Amazon voucher. So let's kick this off. Say, for example, I want to set up a new end-user computing environment. What are my options?
There's not more than you think, to be fair. When we look at end-user computing, traditionally we think of desktops, don't we? So that's an easy one straight away, wouldn't you say, Tom?
Yep, absolutely.
Physical desktop or physical laptop. And then an obvious one after that for myself would be a virtual desktop, taking a physical one and virtualizing it. And then we were talking previously about this, about possibly not having it in your data center, but up in a cloud environment as well.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. So desktop as a service is kind of also becoming quite a big topic.
Okay, so we hear a lot about user experience and improving user experience. Which one of those would you say gives the best?
So it completely depends on what the workload's going to be, kind of what the end goal of the kind of the company that's setting it up wants to do. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the desktops are all about user experience as well. When we look at the experience we have with desktops at home or laptops at home, we expect, well, certainly end users expect to have that when they come to work.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not always feasible, but ultimately they still want to have a performant environment with the applications they want running on it and be able to do the work that they need to do. Not a classic isn't it? Turning on a computer, going off having a cup of tea, and coming back and it's only just powered on, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
And they want to know that every time they log on, they're going to get the same experience. So whether that's kind of opening a specific application or where they're going to find their files and folders, they want to know that they're always going to be there and they want to know exactly where they are.
Yeah,
Okay.
so totally, we're talking here though, really I suppose, we've covered really I suppose there's 4 different examples. The physical, the virtual, the in the data center or in the cloud really as well, when it's virtualized around that. And I think Tom and I would certainly agree that the physical is an old-fashioned way of doing it. You really want to virtualize the desktop because it may be a difficult project to do, a lot of work to do it initially, but you reap the rewards further on down the line. The initial obvious ones being the security, because I can keep it in a data center, but also the fact that it's a consistent experience, as Tom was saying.
Yeah, but what about security? Say I'm putting my desktops and my data in the cloud. Is there not a risk? How do you secure an environment like that?
Yeah, fair question. Yeah, fair question. So that's really, you've got to architect it correctly for that cloud environment. And also you've got, don't forget the cloud still is someone's data center, so they're secure in their own respect as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the other big things is, so security issues are always going to be a thing. Vulnerabilities will be found. But when you have kind of a centralized desktop estate, you can update the kind of the base images of those operating systems with the security patches, and they're immediately pushed to everyone's laptop.
Right, okay, yeah.
Opposed to having to necessarily wait for every individual person to go and update their own device. And especially with bring your own device as well. People aren't just using laptops, they're using tablets, they're using phones. They may be logging in kind of remotely from a cafe somewhere or a service station. And you need to be able to make sure that those endpoints are completely secured as well.
Yeah, and that security is really key when I think about then antivirus or ransomware. And you get that on your laptop or your physical desktop, it's a rebuild. You're not going to get that data back.
Absolutely.
With a virtual environment, all you do is you give them another desktop. Literally, from a click of my fingers, you're giving them another desktop around it really quickly because, as Tom was saying, the user profiles, the data itself is stored somewhere else. It's not all a symbolic linking of the two together across there as well.
Okay, so we're moving away from physical desktops. What happens in VDI and DAS environments where everyone arrives at 8 a.m. in the morning, have their coffee, go and sit down at 8:30, you've got 1,000 people trying to log in to that system at the same time. Those pesky boot storms, how do you get around that issue?
Yeah, those pesky boot storms.
Pesky. Darn those pesky
boot storms. Yeah, well, that's all about the performance of the platform. You've got to have the right platform to give you the right performance available for those desktops. Potentially around some form of data locality to ensure that those desktops are getting access to the data that's local to them at the time. But then really to park that question around those pesky boot storms, yeah, it is going to be about the performance and the ability to spin up those desktops quickly and having a platform that's scalable for that and performant for it as well.
And I think as we move kind of with the technology times and having kind of that modular scale out approach to IT, actually a lot of the issues with boot storms kind of are alleviated, because as you're adding more processing power into that cluster or system, you're removing the bottlenecks that more traditional kind of 3-tier IT had, and you're giving that linearity of performance that as you scale out, you know exactly kind of how many users and what the performance that system's going to give you.
Okay. Yeah, and if I think about it being a pesky boot storm, let's look at it another way. If we roll it back, where's that pesky boot storm come from? It's come from your ability to turn those desktops off at a specific time, maybe seasonal, you know, the Easter holidays, Christmas holidays, everybody goes away for the weekend. We turn it off just before the holidays start because we don't want to have that drain on the environment. And then we power it on before people come in the morning, or they power on ad hoc as people come in. So although they sound like pesky boot storms, when we roll that back and the money saved from the compute and the electricity consumption, it's a good thing to have. I can't believe I've just thought pesky boot storms are actually going to be a good thing, but yeah, it's a good thing.
Right, well, we'll close it there. Thanks, chaps. Appreciate your input today.
Fantastic, thank you very much.
Join us next time where we continue our discussion on end-user computing in the Cloud Chalet.